Shalom, Most High in Christ bless. Happy Sabbath to everybody tuning in across the globe. All praises to the Most High in Christ. We are back again live, all right, on this Sabbath day. We are continuing in Maccabean week. All praises to the Most High. A lot of things has been coming out during these topics right here. Mainly very historical data, all right. That's today. As well, we're going to be going into a little bit of our history, hidden history that really, they don't really tell us about, okay? So we're going to be touching on that. We're going to be going into the scriptures. Make sure you have a 1611 King James Bible, all right? Not too long today on this Sabbath day. When we tend to start going over history, we was talking about it a little bit earlier, our people, because of the weight of the world that's pulling on you, jobs, family, relationships, all kind of stuff pulling on you. You want money, people want all kind of things, and it pulls on you. So when it's time to be studious or when it's time to study, your mind tend to be mushy. Let me just use that word. I'm being nice. You don't really have that discipline to really focus on studying. And that's a hard thing to get. It's not a knock on anybody because you're living. You're trying to figure things out. And when you do study, notice what happens. Every time I challenge anybody, pick up the Bible and start trying to study and go with history and everything. It starts to get so diluted that it drains you down, and then you be like, well, let me just put this down. Or turn on a video, or let me watch somebody else who put in work do it. And that, for real, what happens is it makes you lazy. Knowing history, let me say this too, that's not where the salvation is. The salvation is really, you don't have to really know history, to be honest with you. You can be the person who just understand keeping commandments in Christ, the end. But unfortunate for us, right, we have to know these things because we are battling spirits outside of that. The regular person who come in, whoever heard this, and you was like instantaneously, oh, this is it. This is the truth. You're the easy person. You have other forces that come in and be like, yo, yeah, I think this is the truth. Notice the word, I think. And then all the questions come. So, and they're trying to see how they can get out of keeping commandments and stuff like that. So they utilize history to try to discredit the Bible, not realizing, we said it last night, the Bible's a history book. We'll challenge anybody on it. All right, so make sure you put on your student cap today. This is not for the weak-minded, not a topic like today. All right, we have to really focus and slow down and get things done. Give me Romans. Let's open up with the book of Romans. Make sure can they hear us? Online, can y'all hear us? Yeah, put a 1 in there if you can hear us. Somebody put a 1 in. Romans chapter 10 and verse 13. Let's go there.
All right, everybody. Shalom, Most High in Christ bless. Happy Maccabean week. The book of Romans, chapter 10 and verse 13.
Come on.
For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved.
So any Israelite, repenting Israelite, who's believing in the Most High through Christ's ways of keeping the commandments, all right, you shall be saved. Saved from what? Put in a comment board. Saved from what? What are you trying to do calling yourself being in the truth? Like that's a real net. You put the net in the water just gonna pass through it. Your questions, what are you trying to get? Like, why are you even want to be in the truth? You should be asking yourself that question. Why am I here? Why am I trying to learn this? Why am I tuning in? Who's these crazy guys up here screaming the Bible verses and stuff like that? What do they want? Well, if you tune into us before the class starts and you hear the prayer, we're talking about rulership. That's right. We're talking about being saved from our enemies to be able to have a nation of people back in harmony and knowing how to deal with each other. See, anybody can read the Bible. Anybody can read a simple mathematical book. Anybody can read. Anybody can look on something and go, "This is it." Until you start to believe, that's where the metamorphosis is at. Anybody can do any of those things, but not everybody believes. Read on.
Verse 14. How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed?
There you go. How you going to call on him whom you did not believe? You don't really, if that's the problem with a lot of our people. A lot of our people are just, sometimes you can get content with not knowing nothing. I don't know how that can happen, but it happens in our nation a lot. We glorify madness, sickness. Come on.
And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard?
Come on.
And how shall they hear without a preacher?
That's the question. How you going to hear without a preacher? A person's supposed to have the Spirit of the Lord on them to be able to really understand and say, okay, this is it in totality. Here. Read.
Verse 15. And how shall they preach except they be sent?
It's the only way you could do it. That's why you folks are going to realize something. You're going to see people come into the truth. You're going to see them fall off. Mm-hmm. You don't hear people screaming the Bible, reading the Bible. You're going to see them fall off.
We just call it casualties of war.
How shall they preach except they be sent? Read.
As it is written.
Come on.
How beautiful.
How what?
How beautiful
Read.
Are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace.
The gospel of peace is us saying the ones that are teaching, preaching, screaming to our people to make peace with the Most High. Read.
And bring glad tidings of good things.
So glad tidings of good things. You hear it. Eternal life, rulership. All right. Being to have the ability to understand the knowledge, getting close to the Most High. That's some things the Creator. All right. So you folks got to realize that. Now, in that dynamics, the Most High is the one in control of all things. Okay. Some people have not learned that fact, and that's what hinders your belief system. Let me say it slow. The Most High is in control of all things. All things. It's not one thing that he's not in control of. If you understand that, then your belief system should increase dramatically, because man's goings is of the Lord. There's no such thing as an accident. All right? That means that you're here for a purpose. Understand that. Now, let's go back to where we left off last night. We was in 1 Maccabees chapter 3. We're going to go into some things real quick.
Matter of fact, let me see.
I mean, I would like to just read verse 1 again.
Let's do it. Let's go back to it. 1 Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 1. Then his son Judas, called Maccabeus, rose up in his stead, and all his brethren helped him. So did all they that held with his father, and they fought with cheerfulness the battle of Israel. So he got his people great honor, and put on a breastplate as a giant, and girded his warlike harness about him. And he made battles, protecting the host with his sword. In his acts, he was like a lion, and like a lion's whelp roaring for his prey. For he pursued the wicked, and sought them out, and burnt up those that vexed his people. Wherefore the wicked shrunk for fear of him, and all the workers of iniquity were troubled, because salvation prospered in his hand. He grieved also many kings, and made Jacob glad with his acts, and his memorial is blessed forever. Moreover, he went through the cities of Judah, destroying the ungodly out of them, and turned away wrath from Israel, so that he was renowned unto the utmost parts of the earth, and he received unto him such as were ready to perish. Then Apollonius gathered the Gentiles together, and a great host out of Samaria, to fight against Israel.
So now you have, do you realize what's happening? Because let me ask this question. Let me see what I got. Why would they need to gather everybody together to fight Israel? Jake, why is these people gathering everyone together to fight Israel? Do we have massive numbers right here?
No, because the diaspora has already started. If
Okay.
you go back into chapter 1, a lot of our people were fleeing from Jerusalem because of these wicked people were there.
Our people fled from Jerusalem, so we don't have that much. Our numbers are not up, okay, but yet they still need to now recruit from everywhere to try to fight us. Okay, Bethel.
Because they don't know if we have the support of the God of Israel.
They don't know.
Well, they know that if we, because we are returning back to righteousness, we have the Most High with us. So, whether the numbers, we don't have to have a lot of numbers in order to see them out.
So now here goes the dynamic. So that means that they realize that the Most High, if he's with us, then they're gonna lose. But yet they will still try to gather everybody in. So let's stay in 1 Maccabees, go to chapter 12. So let's look at it for war's sakes. Now we're talking about wars. In order for me, if you know that you're fighting a group of men, the Israelites, and then you try to gather every single nation to try to come against them and fight, there's some kind of dynamics that has to be at play, because surely these people don't believe in the Most High. He's calling himself God manifested on earth at this time. What are they trying to stop from happening? That's the thing. So Jake kind of hit it a little bit, because we was scattered, right? That Israel's scattering everywhere. What you have to learn in the history, let's read it real quick. 12 and verse 18.
1 Maccabees, chapter 12 and verse 18. Wherefore, now as ye should do well to give us an answer thereto. And this is the copy of the letters which Honorius sent unto Arius, king of the Lacedemonians.
Arius was the king of the who?
The Lacedemonians.
The Lacedemonians. So he's sending a letter. Now, this king right here, even though he lost a battle, all right, in a well-known war, but he was still yet had power, and we're going to see what type of king this was. So this king is sending a letter. Watch this. Come on.
So Arius, king of the Lacedemonians, to Onias the high priest, greeting. It is found in writing that the Lacedemonians and Jews are brethren.
So it's found in writing. So you go, if you look up, pull up on Google, Lacedemonians, and just give me the picture of, pull a shield up. Second one. Yep. A famous shield. Let them see that. You just went to go on Google. So this is very crafty. When you're doing war, you don't know what's going on because you got this king right here who has the ability to fight in your region, and you're now playing diplomacy, gathering all the people you can, because you can't have this army right here, the Lacedemonians, which you folks would know if you recognize that shield, as they will call them, the Spartans, which they will always show you in movies and in other parts of history. They're going to paint them as being 300 white guys that was able to wield a sword and fight. No, sir. Read it again.
First Maccabees, chapter 12 and verse 21. It is found in writing that the Lacedemonians and Jews are brethren, and that they are of the stock of Abraham. Now therefore, since this is come to our knowledge, ye shall do well to write unto us of your prosperity. We do write back again to you that your cattle and goods are ours, and ours are yours.
Do you hear that? What nation is going to do that for us? What other nation did that for us? If there was another nation, that's why we're brethren. The Lacedemonians, don't get it twisted, because you had Spartans, but the Lacedemonians was a sect of merchants, all right, that turned to mercenaries. They basically started, they were merchants that went throughout what you would know of as the Phoenician Strip. Give me a picture of the Phoenician Strip. See that top part right there in red? They were all through there, going all the way up into Greece. They were merchants. Okay. Yeah. That should sound familiar. Give me Mark 7 real quick. Show y'all some kind of dynamics that's going on. Yep. 26. Yeah.
The book of St. Mark.
You can start up above a little bit.
Okay, you want to go to 24?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. St. Mark, chapter 7 and verse 24. And from thence he arose and went into the borders of Tyre and Sidon.
Go put the map back up. Zoom in for him. You see Tyre and Sidon? All right. Look how look. Number one, the problem is this is an ancient map. They take and they make the maps and their borders based upon what the scripture says. The scriptures will tell you it's northwest region, and they follow that and put the map up, which is accurate according to the Bible. But all of that's supposed to be Israel's land. But you got Tyre and Sidon, which is Hamites, right there. Now, there's some dynamics that's about to come into play, folks. Pay attention. Read on.
St. Mark, chapter 7 and verse 24. And from thence he arose and went into the borders of Tyre and Sidon, and entered into an house, and would have no man know it, but he could not be hid.
Because the Lord's going through there. That's the land of Israel. But howbeit Tyre and Sidon is not. When you go into Genesis 10, you will read about their Hamites. All right, come on.
Verse 25. For a certain woman whose young daughter had an unclean spirit heard of him, and came and fell at his feet. The woman was a Greek.
The woman was a Greek. Come on.
A Syrophoenician by nation.
Syrophoenician. So this dynamics, give me a pictures. They have frescoes. They have pictures. They have drawings and everything from those time periods, folks. And you can see, let me see, go over. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Right there. Go back. Right there. this is gonna show you the little dynamics, because you have what you would think of as Africans living on the Phoenician Strip, also Greeks. So they painted these in the customs, in the culture. All right, these are frescoes from that region. All right. You had the Phoenicians. When you read in the book of when you read Herodotus, right? He tells you that the Lacedemonians have the complexion of the Phoenicians. Yeah, you can read it in his fourth book called the Persian Wars. Okay, he tell you that they have the complexion of the Phoenicians, and the Phoenicians are dark, but you see that the Greeks have mixed in with them. So you have even modern times in that area. You get a picture of them in modern times in that area now, because they don't even matter if you're dark or not. They up there doing these cultures right here. And a lot of their cultures, a lot of the culture that's in that area stems from your book. Yeah, so you have the women, they're doing their little dances or whatever the case may be, but that's in that area. But in the ancient pictures and stuff, you're seeing them dark. Okay, Syro-Phoenician.
The woman was a Greek.
Matter of fact, give me Blue Letter real quick. Just pull that up for somebody. Syro-Phoenician. Yeah, pull up the Blue Letter. Pull up Mark 7:26. See what's going on there. Syro-Phoenician. Yeah. I'm just looking at, scroll up. I'm trying to see what it means. What does that say? Exalted palm? The name of a mixed nation. You see that? And Syrians. Uh-oh. There you go. But why is it, now somebody should be really thinking, why is it that they say it was Greek? And they're saying that it's mixed between Syria. So a lot of the things we tell you go, okay, the Greeks came out of Syria. You're wondering why we're saying that, because in history and when they're digging up all the artifacts, they're finding all Greek. This is Greek. But howbeit it's coming from Syria. All right. Let's go back to 1 Maccabees, chapter 14, verse 1.
1 Maccabees, chapter 14, and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the 163 year, King Demetrius gathered his forces together and went into Media to get him help to fight against Typhon.
So he went to Media. See, they still, even though they were destroyed by Alexander, they still going in there fooling with him. Understand? So now he goes in there trying to get help. Media is who? Japhet. All right. You have Minoans, which dwelled in the islands off in the Aegean Sea. Okay. Those are Japhites. When you go into their history, that's actually Meshach. Meshach. Yeah, we read in Genesis 10. All right. Matter of fact, pull up their island, the island of Crete. You read about these places in the Bible. When you read in Titus, you read about Crete. The Cretians are always liars. You read about them. All right. Israel was all in these areas. Yeah, look at this. Give me where the location is at. Matter of fact, you have, so remember I sent you a link because yes. Yeah. Yeah. Crete they are still finding things in that region, all right, in that island, because they have set up breakwaters. We mentioned that the other day, all right. So these breakwaters was made out of you have a word called concrete. This place is called Crete, okay, and they had made these structures in the waters, breakwaters, to slow down the ships. What that did was produce a lot of commerce in that area between Japhet and going through that Phoenician strip, okay? And Cyprus, all those islands that you read about in the Bible is right there. Why is this so important to really understand? What is that all about? Because I'm going to tell y'all, when you start learning this, you really understand Gentiles. You really start understanding when everybody go, oh, we're Gentiles. You're going, no, wait a minute. What Gentiles are we? Because you got all of these different people crammed into these areas, and they all living in their same guise as they've been since the beginning. But then you have Israel interjected in the midst of these places and thriving. So when you read about it, matter of fact, go there real quick. Hold this. We're going to come back. Go to Titus. Chapter 1. Titus chapter 1. You may blow the dust off of Titus. Somebody gonna go to the front. Where's Titus? Hmm? Yeah, go ahead. 1 and 5.
Titus chapter 1, verse 5.
Interception. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. T. Go ahead.
For this cause left I thee in Crete, that thou shouldest set in order the things that are waiting, and ordain elders in every city, as I had appointed thee.
Keep reading.
If any be blameless, the husband of one wife, having faithful children, not accused of riot or unruly. For a bishop must be blameless.
Come on.
As the steward of the Most High, not self-willed, not soon angry, not given to wine, no striker, not given to filthy lucre, but a lover of hospitality, a lover of good men, sober, just, holy, temperate, holding fast the faithful word as he hath been taught, that he may be able by sound doctrine both to exhort and to convince the gainsayers.
Come on.
For there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision.
So you are hearing about Crete, and you're seeing how he has to put forth very stern orders to be serious, because in that region you got a bunch of mixed people. You got people dealing in merchandise. Our people in there making money, doing all kind of things. All right, but you start to see the dynamics of the Bible play out, because if you paint this picture and put yourself in today's time right now, you're gonna get the same type of things that's happening back then. It's a problem. All right. The problem comes in when our people's mind detach from doing thus saith the Lord, but actually want to live like the other nations. Okay, it's the reality of it. Some of us have not purged that out of our minds just yet. You still living like the other nations. In your mind, you gotta really search yourself. Like, am I really comfortable living like this place has told us to live? You get to the point where you're just so comfortable, you see somebody that's a homosexual, you're like, oh, that's normal. You see a transgender, you're like, oh, that's normal. It don't even bother you. That's crazy. Think about the reality of that. when you just because you working, you might be at a job. Somebody walk in, you like, oh, this is transgender. What's the lady from what's that? Let me see, the guy. What his name was? Bruce Jenner. People just looking there. I'm calling him Bruce. I ain't calling him Katie. He's Bruce. If he ever walk up on anybody, you just call him Bruce. Yeah, straight up. Was the other guy from, was it Juno? Yeah, 12 years. You on the TV kissing guys, all kind of stuff. Like, yeah, people just doing love scenes with this person. No, it was a guy. And then was like, no, and then the way the world is, when it was put out there, people was congratulating it. People were saying, oh, I'm so glad that you finally, came out and you're free and stuff. I don't know. You can put a picture up there real quick. What I'm showing you is that once this stuff out here, you done been normalized. Okay? But we're reading about wars. We're reading about men who sending letters to gather. We're not going to live like you. We're going to war. Can you understand that mentality? Yeah, this person. That's a guy, sir. A lot of people was fooled, though. A lot of people was fooled, though. Look, this is where, blow it up. I mean, he's just trying to show you this is the lewd. Remember, we opened up Maccabean week. He was saying that these people were lewd. They had lewdness on them. But now you are a. Well, that's a. Let me ask Bethel this question. Never mind. Nah, never mind. He gonna say something crazy. I don't know what. Let's go back to First Maccabees. That's all out of order. How you gonna be you're a transgender? You really a man? But then you wanted a woman, and you're a woman. It's massive confusion. That's why this place is called Babylon the Great. All right. Yeah. So, I mean, it was looking backwards. It looked like she was the man and he was the woman, and vice versa. As you can see, all the chaos. But so our forefathers entered into war because they did not want to live in the same fashions and the same customs of the so-called white man, the Greeks, and of the Romans. See, the Romans were more sneaky. This is why America is fashioned after Rome. The Romans was more sneaky about it. What they do is they give you the illusion that you can pick things. But how could you give me say, oh, you got the freedom of choice, but yet God said to do this, and then out of your same mouth, you say, God, we trust. How does that work? Let's go back to Judas Maccabees. Where you left off at? 14. You're going to read 14.
First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 2. But when Artaxerxes, the king of Persia and Media, heard that Demetrius was entered within his borders, he sent one of his princes to take him alive, who went and smote the host of Demetrius, and took him and brought him to Artaxerxes, by whom he was put in ward.
Come on.
Okay. Verse 4. As for the land of Judea, that was quiet all the days of Simon, For he sought the good of his nation in such wise, as that evermore his authority and honor pleased them well. And as he was honorable in all his acts, so in this, that he took Joppa for an haven, and made an entrance to the isles of the sea, and enlarged the bounds of his nation, and recovered the country, and gathered together a great number of captives, and had dominion of Gazara and Beth-horon, and the tower, out of the which he took all uncleanness. Neither was there any that resisted him.
Y'all hearing these names, mark them down. For Lord's will, we get to start going over geography and stuff like that. Some of these places still exist. They changed the name up a little bit. But this is very important because you're reading about him, who he's doing this. Ultimately, this spawns the converts and everybody because he's ruling so hard on our land. All right? Come on.
Verse 8. Then did they till their ground in peace, and the earth gave her increase, and the trees of the field their fruit. The ancient men sat all in the streets communing together of good things.
Come on.
And the young men put on glorious and warlike apparel.
So obviously, it's nothing wrong with, somebody come up in here, you just looking glorious. You got your warlike apparel on. Beautiful. You're just looking mighty. Right then and there, they were mighty because you got your own land. All right? And because of what Judas Maccabean and his fathers, his friends, and all the righteous brothers, their wars that they were like, we're not having it, the Most High allowed all the Israelites to start to come together again. That's the point. So if you know I got the baddest bunch of brothers on the face of the earth that's in all your regions, and they are mercs, people was paying them to go out and do deeds. All right? If you want to learn about them, read Herodotus. You read that read the Persian Wars. All right? He talks about them because what they were doing is people were trying to get enough money to hire them. They was mercenaries for hire. So when you see 300 on TV and you see them attached to the Greeks, they wasn't attached to anybody. Really Israelites.
See how they have the power to alter history and put it on the silver screen and make money off of it? And what happened, they tell the lie so much it becomes truth. Mm-hmm. And see what happens with our people, like the elders saying, we don't take the time to go study because they don't tell you that in the regular churches. They just hit you with rhetoric. So we don't take the time to study and find out the geographics, the history, all that stuff, and it means a lot for our people.
And the regions where they were at, because you get Athens, you get Sparta, you're not realizing, wait a minute, why is Paul and everybody, why are they going up and down through that area? Mm-hmm. Because you got Israelites there. You had the Lacedemonians saw to it, they joined forces and started. That's why the land is quiet right here, because that king was like, we're going to join forces. All right, come on.
Verse 10, he provided victuals for the cities and set in them all manner of munition, so that his honorable name was renowned unto the end of the world.
Munition, what's that mean? Some of you military folks. Well, weapons. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't a game. So obviously they have some training going on. Obviously they have people who were if it pops off, we're gonna be able to grab our swords. This is gonna be time to fight. Well, the Lord said at some point you're gonna have your sword. Pick up your sword. People keep thinking that Christ was just all about hugging somebody. No, it's not. Newsflash. We're just being patient waiting for the number of our brethren to be sealed. Mm-hmm. Then that's it. Mm-hmm. We're not going to be the peaceful, keep kicking us in the head, kicking us in the butt. We just keep seeing you kill our people left and right for no reason. The guy, you have a sandwich in your hand, putting a key in the door, you get killed.
Yep.
This man pardons a turkey But yet, let all the stars plead to him to pardon this guy right here. Don't do it. But yet, all these people killing the guy who was in Kenosha, little kid shooting people. Get him out. Celebrate him for killing people.
Mr. Silver Spoons himself goes and gets him off. You know, it just goes to show you the mentality of how these people, they're nationalists for their own people.
It was just that we're the only ones that are not. And that's because we haven't settled our spirits down. Everything we do, we tend to want to dance. We want to sing. It like in our mind, it's like just children of Israel, children. Dance, fun, please. Oh, when it comes down to getting something, I want it now.
You know what's funny? Remember when we went to the so-called Black Lives Matter rally down there at the statue? What were our people doing? Got a basketball hoop up there, shooting basketball, playing music. It was almost like a big old cookout. People was playing games. I mean, here we are supposed to be. You're fighting for injustice, and you thinking that you're making it into a damn big party.
Somebody writing on the statue. You got somebody next to a cursing. Somebody rapping. You had people screaming Black Power, all kind of stuff. I seen 2 old men playing chess. I was just fed up. I was like, I'm done. I'm done. Why you just? Who told you to open a chess game right here?
Exactly.
You crazy? You just sitting in that joint. It's chaos everywhere.
Right.
You just Bishop to knight 7. That's who. It's upsetting. We laugh at it, but it's really upsetting because you're like, what has happened to the mightiest people? But yet you get us in the ring to box against anybody minus Nate Robinson. Yeah, shots fired. Nate Robinson might not be a Jake. I don't know. His Jake card is removed. He was fighting Jake. I don't know.
Ain't that crazy?
It's sad when you look at our people as a whole to be able to sit down and go, listen, this is not fun and games. Somebody's gonna have to die. We're gonna send somebody back to the Most High. When that mind state hits, right now they scared of that mind state. These little marching guys, you know, the guys in black, what they call themselves.
I'm not
effing around.
Well, they figured out a way to get Jam Master Jay. They figured something out to get him. 3 months ago, he supposedly did something. It shows you how the system works. Until they point the gun at the feds. So you see that happens supposed to happen in what, September? Here it is, December, and you wait until now to arrest the guy? It goes to show you.
They playing the big game. They playing the big game. They say, oh, no, he got an uprising coming. And it's all these guys talking about grabbing guns and stuff. Even though that's at the municipal level, folks.
Right.
The real problem is when you start touching it on a nation level. Imagine globally, once our brethren is sealed, imagine globally the Israelites wake up. Globally. It's happening. You folks understand it's happening everywhere. I can't tell you the little parts of, places where people like, my father was a slave.
Yep.
I said, what? Excuse me, what are you talking about? I can barely understand you. But yes, okay, congratulations. And their minds is being purged. All right? Read on.
First Maccabees, chapter 14 and verse 11.
Come on.
He made peace in the land, and Israel rejoiced with great joy. For every man sat under his vine and his fig tree, and there was none to fray them.
Come on.
Neither was there any left in the land to fight against them. Yea, the kings themselves were overthrown in those days.
So what's the mechanism? Because Israel's sitting in peace. What is the mechanism where kings are being overthrown? Obviously, we have some type of army, some type of military attacking at that time that they're nervous about. Watch this. Come on.
Verse 14. Moreover, he strengthened all those of his people that were brought low.
Come on.
The law he searcheth out, and every contemner of the law and wicked person he took
You
away.
hear that? The law he searched out. So think about if you have a community. We were just talking about that. You have a community. You can't, somebody got to govern it. It's got to be governed by something. You can't just set up things and just think that, oh, okay, it's going to run by itself. That's why we're saying you have to purge your mind first. People got to be on one accord in understanding how to keep the commandments. Everybody can't be, somebody can't wear, you know what, I wear teat-seats. That's all I need to do. Other people like, you know what, I wear fringes around the whole garment. Other brothers like, you know what, I'm honoring Christ. I'm not covering my head. Other brothers, I'm going to cover my head. It's complete madness. Then you got pockets of, you also have women groups for some reason because social media is put people underneath an illusion. You are now formed, you got the congregation of Facebook and the congregation of social media where you have women groups where they're coming together via online. It's a church. They're coming together online, praying, touching things, making decisions, all kind of stuff.
Damn.
It's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. You have to realize we are underneath supreme spiritual war right now. This time right here, this physical war. How could you ever be in a physical war if your mind is not right? That's what our problem is. We're reading this. As great as Judas Maccabeus was, the ultimate downfall is linking with the Romans. That's the ultimate downfall. All right? Linking with the Romans, this man never trust thine enemies. This man automatically usurp you. Come on.
Verse 15. He beautified the sanctuary
Come on.
and multiplied the vessels of the temple.
Come on.
Now, when it was heard at Rome and as far as Sparta,
Rome towards the south, Sparta up to the north. Come on.
that Jonathan was dead,
Come on.
they were very sorry.
Come
But
on.
as soon as they heard that his brother Simon was made high priest in his stead.
Who is he talking? Is he talking about the Romans? He talking about our people that is over there in Sparta, in Rome. They were sad because Israel, remember, Israel was given free reign to live in those areas, folks. Okay? Give me a Google a map real quick. Just the area. It's what you don't understand about the Gentiles. You don't understand about the way the dynamics of how we got trapped. We got trapped in a system trying to follow a system. Watch this. Give me a Google map the area. Just zoom out on it. Modern day area. It's not until you start settling down, you start realizing, wait a minute. Man, how could you the hardest brother swinging a sword, but the weakest Edomite is able to just crush you? How is that even possible? Because he's 10 steps ahead of your behind. That's why. And if we are not having the warlike mind like Christ, you're going to fall again. That's how brothers fall. Are supposed to notice. You're supposed to know the truth. You're supposed to know what you're doing. You're supposed to know why you're doing it. And you're supposed to have a great understanding that you are not in a religion. Period. But somehow you have people who's supposed to know that they're Israelites fall susceptible to religion, Christianity. It's sad. They have let down their foreparents. Pull up the map. No, just give me zoom out to the whole, just let people see the whole region of, this is Japheth, scroll out. Give me the, all right, yeah, go in a little bit. So, that's Rome, scroll back out. Keep going. Sparta, I'm trying to get them to see how the distance is. You might can Google it. The distance from Rome to Sparta. Give you some idea. People heard Jonathan, listen, it's a problem. He's gone. That's a sad thing. That family did so much for Israel and sacrificed so much. That's sad. That show you how do they have does anybody got T-Mobile at that time? Does anybody got Verizon? That means word is traveling. People they know things. What did he say? Oh no. What you put an I behind an A. Sometimes when you're dealing in this age right here, just some things happen. Yeah, I don't know if I can't even see it because it's so tiny on this. 20 hours and 8 minutes. Okay, Rome is north, Sparta is south of it. Okay. From that region, 20 hours it would take to get there, right? Okay. They're hearing about. Go back to the map. Zoom out. Just take your time. I want some folks to fall asleep. Go to sleep. Become a Eutychus. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Yeah, I know. Okay, so that little spot in the rib cage area right there is Israel. Scroll back in on it. Right there. Scroll over for him. Right. You can move the mouse. You can move the map. Yeah. There you go. So Israel tucked away right here. As far as Rome and Sparta, they hear the news. They're sad. This is not the people that's ruling that land at that time, but it's our people. That's why you read about in Acts, like Acts 20, Acts 27, some of you scholars. Paul is in Athens and stuff like that. Okay. So he's over there because a lot of our people are there, okay? Now, read on.
First Maccabees, chapter 14 and verse 17. But as soon as they heard that his brother Simon was made high priest in his stead, and ruled the country and the cities therein, they wrote unto him in tables of brass.
In tables of brass, come on.
To renew the friendship and league which they had made with Judas and Jonathan his brethren.
Watch this, come on.
Which writings were read before the congregation at Jerusalem.
So this not talking about just Rome, because remember they went Rome and Sparta. They like we gotta make sure we on one accord. Come on.
Verse 20. And this is the copy of the letters from the Lacedemonians sent, the rulers of the Lacedemonians, with the city unto Simon the high priest, and the elders, and the priests, and residue of the people of the Jews, our brethren.
Come on.
Send greetings.
So now you just understand, they even on that end understand. Listen, this is our brethren. Okay. Now, when you go, give me the pictures of some of these bros, the Lacedemonians. We put this up on our website as well. You got these brothers fighting and training. They got on do-rags, long hair braided. You could see it in the carvings. All right. Yeah, you got beards. When you start to read about, yeah. I mean, look, hair plaited. You know, I don't know if somebody. I'm waiting to see who's gonna be able to get their beard mighty like that with little twisties in it or something. Bethel, can you think you can get your beard like that? This bro on that coin is mighty. He got little swirl twisties in his beard, just all lined up. You know. Read it again.
First Maccabees, chapter 14, verse 20. And this is the copy of the letters that the Lacedemonians sent, the rulers of the Lacedemonians, with the Syrian to Simon the high priest and the elders and the priests and residue of the people of the Jews, our brethren, send greeting.
So eventually, of course, you had, prior to that, you had what is called the Chromadian Wars, which basically took down the leader, some of the best leaders of the Lacedemonians. They lost, okay? But they're still holding on that last stronghold with them. Eventually, Rome comes in, completely decimates, and takes over and start to rule. Edom come in and just be like, nah, we got the sword, and destroy. All right? Go back to, stay in First Maccabees, go back to chapter 3. Now, we're surfacing these little pieces of the puzzle because later on, Lord's will, during this week, as we start to go in on really the gist of this, understanding why the Gospels is being put in place. That's Lord's will. We hit that this week. You start seeing all the places in the epistles where the disciples, where Paul, where everybody went, is inside of this Greek captivity. Inside of, when you read First and Second Maccabees, all the places where he's going, the Israelites are there. They have been outcasted because of war, because of being disobedient, because of a cruel tyrant. They've been outcasted to all these locations, okay? So you need to learn. This requires you settling down and having some leisure time to really start to look at this, other than just looking at us crying all day. This is like more studious. All right. So let's go back to chapter 3.
First Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 9.
And you can read verse 9.
Okay. So that he was renowned unto the utmost parts of the earth, and it received to him such as were ready to perish. Then Apollonius gathered the Gentiles together and a great host out of Samaria to fight against Israel. Which thing, when Judas perceived, he went forth to meet him, and so he smote him and slew him. Many also fell down slain, but the rest fled. Wherefore Judas took their spoils, and Apollonius' sword also, and therewith he fought all his life long. Now when Saron...
he took his man's sword. You know, it's like, man, he fell in battle. I'm taking your sword. And he fought with that sword. That's psychologically, you take the best, one of the greatest warriors is coming against you, and you slay him, and then now you take his sword and you use it to slay other people with it. That's psychologically, you're finished. Because you're like, man, I know I probably would have lost to that guy right there. This guy beat him. Not only that, nobody can recover his sword from him. Yeah, our greatest soldiers just got trashed.
So it's many bodies on that sword.
There's many bodies on that sword. Yeah. Somebody probably have it up in British Museum or something. They always tucking our relics and everything away.
Yep.
Come on.
Verse 13. Now when Saron, a prince of the army of Syria, heard say that Judas had gathered unto him a multitude and company of the faithful to go out with him to war, he said, I would get me a name and honor in the king and in kingdom. But I would get me a name and honor in the kingdom, for I would go fight with Judas and them that are with him, who despise the king's commandment. So he made him ready to go up, and there went with him a mighty host of the ungodly to help him, and to be avenged of the children of Israel. And when he came near the going up of Beth-horon, Judas went forth to meet him with a small company, who when they saw the host coming to meet them, said unto Judas, how shall we be able, being so few, to fight against so great a multitude and so strong, seeing we are ready to faint with fasting all this day? And to whom Judas answered, It is no hard matter for many to be shut up in the hands of a few. And with the God of heaven, it is all one to deliver with a great multitude or a small company. For the victory of the battle standeth not in the multitude of an host, but strength cometh from heaven. They come against us in much pride and iniquity, to destroy us and our wives and children, to spoil us. But we fight for our lives and our laws. Wherefore, the Lord himself will overthrow them before our face. And as for you, be ye not afraid of them.
So he's right then and there. Yeah, he does have the spirit of exhortation on him, and he's encouraging the men. So you have to, I mean, think about the time that you're in right there. If you was back in that time, it's go mode. Somebody got to die. Come on.
Now, as soon as he had left off speaking, he leapt suddenly
As soon as he finished speaking, he leapt suddenly. Come on.
upon them.
So
And
he got to warring quickly. Come on.
And so Saron and his host was overthrown before him, and they pursued them from the going down of Beth-horon unto the plain, where were slain about 800 men of them, and the residue fled into the land of the Philistines. Then began the fear of Judas and his brethren, and an exceeding great dread to fall upon the nations round about them, insomuch as his fame came into the king, and all nations talked of the battles of Judas.
Come on.
Now, when King Antiochus heard these things, he was full of indignation.
Mad. Come on.
Wherefore he sent and gathered together all the forces of his realm, even a very strong army. He opened also his treasure and gave his soldiers pay.
So now when you hear that he opened up his treasures to give his soldiers pay, now you can kind of really understand, wait a minute, the Lacedemonians, they fight for money. So everybody else, like, we will fight for money. Now he opened up his treasures to give these people some money. Sound familiar? You in the military, this man's going to pay you. All right? Come on.
He opened also his treasure and gave his soldiers pay for a year, commanding them to be ready whensoever he should need them. Nevertheless, when he saw that the money of his treasures failed,
Come on.
and that the tribute in the country was small, because of the dissension and plague which he had brought upon the land, and taken away the laws which had been of old time.
So I just want to stop right there. I just want to stop right there. Do you realize by taking away the laws, I don't care who you are, this is another nation, you will increase plagues upon this place. So for telling the Israelites, you don't have to keep no commandments. What you think is upon this place? Plagues, destruction, consistent chaos, over and over and over again. A lot of people is moving over to New Year's. We keep telling you, a lot of people going to die. People doing Christmas, a lot of people are going to die. People's been dying right now. Kill this person off for insurance money so I can get a good Christmas gift. Yeah, you had some people that just killed their kids to get insurance money so they can go to Aruba and stuff. Take trips. Well, you're living in a lawless society. You're living in a place that says you don't have to follow any rules or regulations. And that transcends to every part of life. You're a woman. You go into school, you try and get yourself together because you don't understand the dynamics of how you're supposed to be. You out there as a savage or a beast woman, and you run into the wrong person, and you get abused and abused. And then that trickles down in your life is, start to change. You're a young man. Being a young man, was just discussing this. Some of you young brothers, man, all you like to do is keep sipping on drinks. When you get to the older age level where you have your little friends, right now your friends might be still young. But if you get to the next level of that, you realize, dang, that dude used to be the freshest guy in high school. Now his teeth out his mouth. Now he all bummy and everything. Yeah, you got to get to that age level to see it. This man 47 years old and he just bummy. How did he get there? Somebody look upon him and say, whoa, he must have had a rough life. But not to you. You look at him and went, this dude was trash. All he wanted to do is party, drink, every little step, drugs, all of that. How you going to be a mighty? How are you going to return and be mighty when you weak as hell, man? You really start looking at it, you weaken. The weakness comes from the mind. All right? That's why we have to, be renewed in the spirit of our minds. Return back to being mighty. So now, the reason why they hate the Israelites, and they always show us in derogatory ways and derogatory light, is because now it looks real mighty. A bruh standing there, we speaking the same thing. Everybody's on one accord, supposedly. You do have some people who are not on one accord because they have their own little minuscule agendas, which still won't work anyway. But for the most part, when they look at it, you see these little apologetics. They make videos on Israel all day. They ain't making videos on nobody else.
Right.
We have to stop them. If we don't stop them now, it's gonna get out of control. Too late.
Y'all know one of the biggest reasons why they hate the fact that we're pushing this truth, because they know once we get in order, their rulership is over. They know that. They know once Israel come together under righteous principles, they know, all the nations know this. If Israel back on top, hell to pay.
And you know what? That brings something else to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
If we know that they're doing sneaky stuff against us, like they got us on what is the hate groups? We're a hate group. Yeah, they got us on all the hate groups, but primarily on that, we're in briefings, sir. They wanted to completely just doing sneaky things to try to shut stuff down. All right? But the point is, if you know that, and you know that you're fighting, they can't do anything else because the Lord said the same manner in which they would try to hurt us is going to come at them swiftly. Right. The Lord going to reign. Will that comes from that's our mandate. Mm. So whatever they thinking to do to us, the Lord brings it upon them. So when you start to think evil, be careful, because the Israelites ain't taking losses. This has to happen. All this is prophecy. We just playing our parts. But it's a warfare, spiritual warfare at its highest level. That means you folks out there that's watching, you brothers, you sisters, mainly you brothers as well, man, you have to tweak your teaching. You have to understand that this is, you got to tweak this. There'll be a meeting on it, but you have to really go out there and start to understand how we have to talk to people, how we have to communicate. Everybody has different starting points, different mentalities, everything. So you can't stay in robot mode. We just in robot. At some point, we probably won't even be sitting right here. We just got to change things up. We got to do things. All right? But for right now, the Lord has us, the Spirit on us doing this. But as many as our minds, if the Lord has our minds to click, if my mind just click, boom, it's time to do something else. We are in full warfare because we have to go after our people, and that's by any means necessary. All right, to be able to push the truth is the key, and to do it with the level and precision that Christ did it is the goal. All right. 6 6. The book of Acts, chapter 27. My goodness. Only the Israelites. Only the Israelites. Start at verse 1.
The book of Acts, chapter 27 and verse 1. And when it was determined that we should sail into Italy.
What did we show on the map? Rome. You think he's sailing there for what, man? What is he going there for? Is he just going there because it's the popular spot? No, he's going there because we have a lot of Israelites over here. They wrote us letters from their previous 130 plus years before this. See, what you don't realize is out of this faction of the Maccabees comes a government and a system that brung about the Romans coming into Jerusalem, being converts, proselytes, whatever you want to call it. It brung in the Hellenistic way. Because you have, why would Hellenistic way be brung in? Because you have the Lacedemonians fighting for us. You have our people over there in Athens, Greece, Rome, all right, Crete, Cyprus, Asia Minor. All of these areas that I'm calling off, you might be ignorant of it. You might, in your mind, you might be going, I don't know what's all this stuff. But know this much, when somebody tell you God is for everybody, you would have a mechanism to go, wait a minute, we had a lot of Israelites over there. Come on.
The book of Acts, chapter 27 and verse 1. And when it was determined that we should sail into Italy, they delivered Paul and certain other prisoners unto one named Julius, a centurion of Augustus' band.
Come on.
And entering into a ship of Adramyttium, where we launched, meaning to sail by the coast of Asia, one of Articus and Macedonian of Thessalonica being with us.
You hear that? So it's using these names. It's using these names, but you have to realize what is really happening in the grand scheme of just pushing Christ. All these people in these regions alienated from the Commonwealth. Alienated. But now you being, the gospel is coming to you. It's just the same thing. We were Gentiles. Somebody asked you in church, you know, you would walk up to any church person and be like, ma'am, you know, sir, what are you a Jew or are you a Gentile? Oh, definitely. You know, I'm a Gentile, definitely. We used to do it for fun. Yep. Holy rollers would sit there and wait for them to come out. So, excuse me, just one question. Are you a Jew or are you a Gentile? I go, I'm definitely a Gentile. Sir, Gentile just mean nation. May I ask, what nation are you then? According to the Bible. Well, guess you're a lost sheep. House of Israel. Come on.
Verse 3. And the next day we touched at Sidon, and Julius courteously entreats Paul and gave him liberty to go into his friends to refresh himself. Mm-hmm. And when we had launched from thence, we sailed under Cyprus because the winds were contrary.
Come on.
And when we had sailed over the sea of Cilicia and Pamphylia, we came to Myra, a city of Lycia. And there the centurion found a ship of Alexandria sailing into Italy, and he put us therein. And when we had sailed slowly many days, and scarce were come over against Sinus, the wind not suffering us, we sailed under Crete over against Solomon.
So you're hearing these names. I read this because you hear a lot of the names of the regions where they're at, and you never just realize, it never dawns on you, wait a minute, he's going to all these places because we have brethren there. But somebody will think that he just go and preach the gospel anywhere he can go.
Because people have to understand, Paul spake 3 languages. He spoke the tongues, known languages. He spoke the Greek, because we do know, because he's in these regions. And he spoke the Hebrew, because he was the Hebrew of the Hebrews. And he spoke Latin because he was in Rome. So the Most High put that spirit upon Paul, because he was a righteous vessel, to use him to do it, to spread the gospel in one of these regions, because Israel was scattered among all these regions with these different languages.
So that just destroying lies, y'all. If somebody tell you from Malachi to Matthew, nobody, the God never spoke to nobody. I mean, come on now. We're reading about a history where the Israelites was fed up and they began to war with Greece, the Greeks, Rome, and any other nation that was trying to come up against us. Because quiet as it kept, when you read the history, the Persians were still trying to come in and attack us too. That's why they formed factions with Rome, to try to make league of enmity with them. All right. The book of Acts, chapter 5. Verse 29.
The book of Acts, chapter 5 and verse 29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men.
Lord's will, this is definitely a part 2, maybe Tuesday, closed circuit. We going in on some more history, because it's definitely needed for you to understand moving forward in the gospel. We have a lot of hidden secrets out there. All right, our people was actually fighting against the powers that be in their own lands. All right, outside of Israel. All praises to the Most High for even having the spirit on the mighty men to do that. All right, and this was all because they defiled the temple. So obviously that rose up a lot of spirits.
Also, Monday's the new moon.
Yep, Monday night, y'all, new moon. It's a new moon Sabbath. All right. Remember, every time within the Feast of Dedication is always new moon. To be announced what's going on with that. All right. All praises to the Most High in Christ. You folks continue to send up the prayers. Sign up to the website, IsraeliteSaintsInChrist.org. All right. Sign up. We will get to you, okay? We get to a lot of folks right now, so all praises to the Most High. All right. Happy Feast of Dedication. With that, say shalom, y'all.